Good evening, viewers. This is Keister, the Real Talk Show, with me, your ever so beautiful host, Keister. To kick off tonight's episode, my guest in the studio is a textile and fashion designer and Ellen MacArthur circular design pioneer. She's also the founder of Creative Hub Africa and the CEO and creative director for the fashion brand Izelia. She has created many job opportunities for young people. Her name? Find out right after this break.
Let's watch the Real Talk with Eileen TV show. By our very own daughter of Sierra Leone, Eileen Keister.
Welcome back to Elinkis to the Real Talk Show. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome the beautiful Isatu Harrison, aka my sister, my friend. Anyways, welcome. Isatu, by the way, is not Isatu, Isatu.
There we
How are
are.
you? How are you, Isatu? How's everything?
Isatu.
Okay, I'm sorry. Isatu. Hi,
Thank you.
Isatu. How are you?
Hey, Ellen Keister.
What's good? What's been going on?
ah, too much.
Too much.
Too much. But I'm good. Thank you. Finally, I am here.
I know, and the
Oh
time
my
is right because you got
goodness.
so much going
Oh
on.
my goodness.
Right, viewers, of course, I'm wearing Izelia. This is the 2023 edition, okay? I'm the brand ambassador. I get
You
to
know.
wear it first.
Mm.
But anyways, we're going to talk about all the collections and so many of the things that she's been doing. Izelia, first of all, the name Izelia is different, it's unique. Where did you come up with that name?
It's actually named after my daughter.
Okay,
My daughter is Izelia.
okay,
So Izelia, it's the meaning of Isela is black, a beautiful princess or black princess.
okay,
And so I just fell in love with Isela when I
okay.
was pregnant. And then that's where the name Izelia comes from. But I always say to her, I am not going to name the business Isela because I don't want her to claim my business. So we kind of dropped a letter,
Okay.
and now it's called Izelia.
Okay, is different. All
Yeah.
right. So you as a fashion designer, you know what I mean? Of course, she used to live in England. She moved, she dropped everything to come to Sierra Leone to do what she's doing right now. So I'm gonna ask you that. I mean, when did you fall in love with fashion?
Gosh, I grew up around it.
Okay.
I think my mom is an influence or an inspiration, if I should say. But it's actually my mom because
Okay.
mom started doing her thing with I still remember her sitting on what the picture I have of my mom really growing up is just her sitting at a balcony or call it the veranda
Mm-hmm.
with her sewing machine, her hand sewing machine on a small table. It was a singer machine.
Okay.
She would do her tie-dye gara, as we
Mm-hmm.
call it,
Mm-hmm.
and then do her stitching and all of that. So it's actually my mom, and she was, oh my God, she was a fashionista.
And I realized when you came as Izila, of course, there are other brands before you,
Yeah.
but you actually kind of sparked up the tie dye. So that was like your thing. It was like Izelia doing all tie
That
dyes.
is still my thing. Very
Right.
much so.
Okay. Right. But yeah, you kind of just
Yeah.
changed the whole tie dye thing, the Gara thing. I mean, it's Sierra Leonean, of
Yeah,
course,
absolutely,
but we be
absolutely.
don't forget about our mom just
Yeah,
to do the ankara and
yeah.
stuff. But then you come and all your collection was just tie dye.
It was important, I
Okay.
think, and you know what, Ellen Kister, it gives me joy because that was the dream. That was the reason
Oh.
why I came.
Okay.
People ask, why did you come back? One of the reasons I came to, came back to Sierra Leone, came back home,
Mm-hmm.
was to really revive the tie dye industry. Um, a lot of families lived on tie dye. Tie dye
Mm-hmm.
was the thing. Growing up, my mom did tie dye. Um, Sometime last week, I went back to Canada and I was talking to a friend of mine in the car, and we were just talking about all these things that are, kind of popping up and people are doing, the microfinance and everything. Um, there wasn't a name for it, but I
Okay.
remember my mom doing, exactly what we call microfinance now
Oh
with her tie
wow.
dye, with Gara,
Okay.
you know. Mom had a lot of women. We had a beautiful compound, a big compound in Kono, and
Mhm.
mom did tie dye, and all these women would come round and work with her. And then they
Okay.
would take some of this tie dye, go sell, come back and pay. So they had like, she gave them a capital and they would repay, in installments until they finish paying. But there
Okay.
wasn't a name for it, right? So
Ah.
now we call it microfinance. There are so many beautiful other titles for different things. But yeah,
Okay.
so for me, tie dye, it was always important that, I mean, my family, I'm third generation
Okay.
in the tie
Okay.
dye. My
Mhm.
my grandmother did it, my mom,
Yeah.
my aunties, everybody around me. And it wasn't like, it's not an isolated thing, right? I
Okay.
mean, it's a common thread amongst a lot of Sierra Leonean families.
Mhm.
um you speak to some, lawyers today, engineers today.
Mhm.
When you talk about tie dye, they'll tell you, "Oh, I be used for the nakam, your mama be maker and enemy they use for pay me fees." And so I think it's something that was really important in our society. It was part of our culture
Mm.
almost,
Mhm.
So, and then the war happened, and everything
Okay.
kind of diminished. And so it was important for me to come back. One of the reasons, like I said, I came back and I just wanted to
To
revive
revive
that
it. And you
industry.
sure did. I mean, everybody's doing it now, in beautiful colors
Yes.
and things like that in different forms. So definitely. So how do you create your designs? Like, I mean, I'm just curious right now. Like, I'm looking at your beautiful dress, and it's different. Like with you, every clothes is different. Like the patterns are different.
Mm.
How are you able to just sit there and say this is the design I want? How do you go about it?
Um, so what I do with Izelia with tie dye,
Hmm.
I love the kind of indigenous patterns
Okay.
that's our grandmothers, our grandparents, our moms, the traditional patterns. But
Hmm.
it's also important that as we grow up, different generations, we add our touch to it.
Okay.
And so I studied design,
Okay.
um, fabric design, and so what I tend to do, I don't know how to say it, but when I work with women, when I
Hmm.
came back, I started working with women in McKinney, and so I sit with these women and I talk to them about different patterns,
Okay.
and they tell me stories. I mean, most of our tie dye patterns have got stories behind them or meaning,
Okay.
and then I will tell them my own story about colors and like patterns that are now,
Hmm.
and so together we create something
Oh,
new that is
cool.
almost, that would kind of celebrate the old, but
Hmm.
we bring in the new. And I also work with like young people, young boys who, so if we do batik, you would find out that our batik, we have our own patterns. We
Okay.
create the stamps. So I work
Oh.
with the boys who do the stamps, and we create our own stamps. Whatever it is that you do in tie dye, like the traditional way, I
Hmm.
try and bring something a little modern
To
to the
it.
traditional,
All
yeah, to
right.
the
So I
traditional
mean, I think that's
design.
why it's trending because, like I
Yeah,
said, I talked about the beautiful colors and
yeah,
things like that. However, it's I notice all the designers they have their own unique,
yeah,
and things like that. So I think that's great. You talk about women and girls, which is your focus,
yeah.
and I know you have a school, whatever you call a studio. How's that going?
The factory is going well.
Okay.
We started our training program about 2 years ago,
Hmm.
and now we work with vocational institutes, like YWCA.
Okay.
When they train, obviously, it's a vocational institute, and so they
Hmm.
send their girls to us for placement. We
Okay.
give them the work experience placement. And the last time we had girls from YWCA, we employed 15 of them.
Okay.
We had about 33, and of the 33 we employed 15. And so we
Wow.
work with other like smaller institutions, and they send the girls to us, work experience. But also for me, the beauty of that is I'm able to kind of instill the Izelia culture
Okay.
into them from like the training stage. which is really important, because
Right.
it's a struggle in Sierra Leone.
I know, and that was going to be my next question because we see how it's going, and we're all struggling with fashion,
Yeah,
music, TV, I mean, movies and things like that.
yeah.
Everybody's struggling. So,
Um, in Sierra Leone, it's actually the experts, and I think again that's common with a lot of either designers or sectors.
okay.
It's getting the experts, people with the right skills, is a
Wow.
problem.
Okay.
And so you what you find is you get tailors,
Mm-hmm.
but they're used to a certain way of
Way of
doing
doing
things.
things. Okay.
And so when you want to kind of instill your culture,
Mm-hmm.
or the way it should be done,
Mm-hmm.
quality control is a big thing in terms
Okay.
of producing in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
It's getting the quality that you really want,
One.
or the quality. It's not even the quality you want, the quality that can compete,
Mm-hmm.
international. I mean,
Okay.
I've lived in London, traveled a lot with the brand.
Okay.
And so for me, it is important that when we put things out,
Mm-hmm.
we need to be able to compete with the international market.
Okay.
And so finding tailors in Sierra Leone, or finding people in Sierra Leone that can actually produce that
That quality
quality
is a problem.
is a problem.
Hold it right there. Don't go anywhere because I'll be right back after this.
Small businesses are not small. They keep you pumped. They keep you learning. They keep you healthy. They keep you stylish. They keep you fed. Happy birthday to you. They keep you smiling. We can do all of this because they keep us moving. At UBA, we keep your small business moving because your business is big business. Ready to get moving?
I am still here, of course. Welcome back to Ellen Kiss to the Royal Talk Show. If you just walked in, I have the beautiful Isatu Harrison, the founder, of course, of Izelia, the brand, the fashion designer. She left everything in London to be here. I mean, she went to school for it. She has a master's and everything else. However, she's here trying to make me look good. Like I said, I'm wearing the brand. But anyways, welcome back, Isatu. Welcome,
Thank
Isatu. Oh
you.
my God, I keep, we may not going to
What
keep,
do I do to
I
you?
know.
Oh
But
Lord.
anyways,
Anyway,
we're talking about some of the challenges in the
yeah.
fashion industry. I know we're trying to move, we're trying to grow. However, Sierra Leone is still not there yet. And you were
Yeah.
explaining about the experts. Is there a possible way, for us to get, tutors to train these people? Is there something we can do about it?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's a lot we can do,
Mm-hmm.
and we can do something about it. So
Mm-hmm.
what we did last year,
Okay.
we were able to do training with our staff, our
Okay.
core staff,
Mm-hmm.
and that was made possible through the World Bank Skills Development Fund.
Okay.
So thank you, Government of Sierra Leone and World Bank,
Mm-hmm.
and skills development. So we kind of trained our core staff.
Mm-hmm.
We brought someone in
Okay.
to train them. Some of the areas that we had issues, really, I mean, the problem I've had since I came back was some of the machines. I shipped most of the machinery that we use at the factory,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't have people to operate some of the machines.
Okay.
That's a huge problem. I think there's only been one factory, like a proper
Mm-hmm.
industrial, like production,
Okay. Here in Sierra Leone,
in
only
Sierra Leone.
one.
There had only been only one. I mean, from my research, because
Okay.
I did some research, as you would,
Mm-hmm.
before I came, and there was Saino, someone
Okay.
called Saino.
Yes, I
That
know.
was the
Yeah.
only like professional known factory
Yeah.
in terms of producing uniforms and like the kind of work that I was coming to do. And
Okay.
so what you find is there's only one guy who used to work for Saino, some old man
Oh.
that knows how to operate like the machines they were using then. Any machine that is kind of 2000,
2000.
he doesn't know. He tries, he will guess, most of the times,
Okay.
because he wouldn't tell you he doesn't know how to use it.
Mhm.
He would come in and probably break one or two things on it,
Before
but
it gets
he will
working.
give
But
it he will
but
give it a go,
okay,
right? And
right.
so when we got access, and when we got the skills development fund,
Hmm.
we brought in someone to train the staff, especially in bulk cutting, and
Okay.
to use some of the machines. So yes, I mean, for me, I want, I've always I want to bring somebody from, either Turkey or
Okay.
other places. I mean, we had to bring somebody from Ghana.
Okay.
But if we can, the plan is for me to bring somebody from Turkey in the next couple of months.
Okay.
And then we can train our own staff again, but also extend the training to other tailoring shops, because
Okay.
I know it is a problem, not just for me, for a lot of other people in the
Okay. Are
industry.
these some of the reasons why we're not able to really? I'm not saying as a brand, but like Sierra Leone fashion designers, we're not able to export our, clothes and things like that. Besides us going to the same Sierra Leone community and selling the clothes.
I would think so.
Okay.
I think that's part of it.
That's part of it.
It
Okay.
might not be the only reason, but I
Hmm.
think that that's majority. Like, I would think even where you have production, you probably have machines. If you don't have the experts
It'll
to
be very
operate those
difficult.
machines, you're not able to do things the same quality
Hmm.
that you would want to do in terms of putting you in that competitive position.
Okay. So in the fashion industry, money wise, is it lucrative? Or are people really supporting your brands? Because, I had a model here who basically were saying we don't have fashion designers here. Basically, her point is when you go to the Ghanas and Nigeria, you have that one fashion designer who's really focused on these models, doing
Mm,
everything for them.
mm.
However, it's not here. She was saying that was her opinion. She feels like, okay, what I've seen and what's happening here is different. And I was saying, well, maybe, you know what I mean? So as a business, is there,
It's challenging.
okay,
It's challenging. I think somehow I kind of, agree with her,
okay.
on the basis that as a fashion designer, I
Hmm.
remember the first time I came and somebody walked in and wanted a bespoke.
Okay.
Now I sew.
Okay.
Um, I can operate my machine. I mean, I did not just study. When I studied, I went back to a factory space
Okay.
to learn how to sew,
Okay.
to do my
So now you can
patterns
sew.
and learn how to sew. So
Okay.
I can sew even before I came,
Okay.
right? But um, in fact, the first piece, like my first bespoke piece that I made, that was one, I still remember this woman to this day, because she kind of gave me the limelight. That was the first piece that I spent time
Okay.
and made by myself
Oh.
at my atelier in
Okay.
London.
Mm-hmm.
And Janet File, she wore it to Buckingham Palace. They gave her an MBA, and she wore that to Buckingham Palace.
Oh,
So,
cool.
but to do that, it's time consuming. And so when you are working as a designer, you
Mm-hmm.
would charge for your time.
Okay.
You would charge for example, making patterns,
Mm-hmm.
sitting there and actually sketching whatever it is your client want. And
Okay.
then you go into your pattern. Now you have to cut your pattern, and then sometimes you need to like grade the pattern,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so all of that time you charge for it.
Oh.
When I'm in London, I charge for my time. When
Okay.
people want things bespoke, I know they're paying for it. I
Mm.
put in the time, I sit
Put in
there
the
and I
work.
do it.
Okay.
And so it's frustrating. Um, when I first came, somebody came, and I thought I was, because that was the kind of service I wanted to provide in Sierra Leone.
Mm-hmm.
And I very quickly realized that it wouldn't work here.
No.
And the person came, and I took my time. We went through everything, and then I gave my charges. I mean, it is not realistic, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so this is why you find most of the work is done by tailors,
Okay.
and you have to find the way to make it work.
Okay.
So I put in the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I am, what you'll find, if I am at the factory
Mm-hmm.
doing something for you, if I'm there from like the beginning to like the end, you would see the difference if I'm not there. And I
And the
think it
tailors
is
just
not,
do whatever they want to
yes, and
do.
I think it is not just me. For most of the
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
who are in the industry,
Yeah.
I think they would relate to what I've just said. So when I'm in the studio
Mm-hmm.
and we're working and producing something, I
Mm-hmm.
might not put all the time that I'll put in as a designer,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm there and making sure that if you're cutting something, I see, I'll see that this is not right. You're not. In fact, they don't use patterns here. They use freehand cutting. What I encourage my tailors to do is to use patterns.
Okay.
You know,
And that makes it easier.
and
You're
it
able to
makes
get
it
the
easier,
quality.
and you're able to get the cut right. But they don't like it.
Because that's the thing, serious. We're not good with change. We're just used to
No.
doing things one way. As long as the clothes is right, it's all good. You know
and
what I mean?
and sometimes they get it right. Like, I really admire our tailors. They've
Okay.
got the skills. Our tailors are very skillful,
Mm-hmm.
but they do not like to be corrected. They don't. Most of them
Mm-hmm.
do not like to be corrected and do not like change. And
Okay.
and they're doing it this way. This is what they know, and they stick to it.
Okay.
And you come in and you want to bring in, your ways of doing things, or the right way of doing things,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not very happy.
Right.
But change is hard. Change is
Okay.
hard.
Yeah.
Change is difficult.
So is that why you're on the high side? Because I know I heard about you. I know you're on the high side when it comes to clothes. You really took it up to a different level.
If I can give you something of good quality,
I should be able to pay
um
for it.
and I think that's what we should, it doesn't have to break the bank,
Okay.
but I have to cover my cost
Of course.
and my
Okay.
time.
All right. Cool. Don't go anywhere because I'll be right back after this break.
Doro World Traveler. How is your Miami vacation going?
Fine, babe. I'll be back next week and I've bought you a lot of things.
Well, I hope the designer bag you promised is included. No excuse this time.
That expensive bag? Babe. I am now in Malaysia.
UBA cards work from Moscow to Malaysia, from Malaysia to Miami. Bros, you can't escape this time.
Hell. Babe. Babe, are you there? I can't hear you again, oh. Your line is breaking. Hello? Hello? Wherever you travel in the world, don't go without your UBA card. UBA, Africa's global bank.
Today we're talking about fashion. Of course, there's no way I'll be talking about fashion and not to have Izelia here with me. Welcome back, Isatu. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I mean, even though you're Isatu, but everybody calls you Izelia because of the brand. But Izelia is the brand, however, but they just call you that, and you just answer it anyway.
And I just answer it. In fact, sometimes I forget and I say, people ask me, "What's your name?" I say,
say
"It's
Izelia."
Izelia."
It's easy
Especially to the
remember.
young girls, So
Okay.
everyone calls me Izelia, and that's okay.
And it's all good.
It's good.
Yeah,
It's
I
good.
mean, we were talking about some of the challenges, and of course, the reason why we're still not there yet. Because a lot of times when I bring creatives here, I try to have people understand why we're struggling. And you're
Yeah.
saying we don't really have a lot of experts, like people that can really use even these new machines
Mhm.
and things like that. However, I think you guys have been doing really well, being there because with you, like you were talking about the patterns, how you can sew.
Mm.
Some other designers, they just really go to the magazine, just take some style and just kind of improvising. I always tell people that not because you're here, I'm like, Izelia actually is hands-on. You know what I mean? Like you can actually, see somebody and just, tell you basically what I think you should wear and it works. So your inspiration, that's another thing, before we go into Creative Hub, which is like her new baby and the big thing. the inspiration. Like you see me, I remember the first time we met, after a while, you just knew what I liked. Like you don't know me like that, but you were able to say, hey, I think this is gonna work. And it worked. You know what I mean? Like, how can you just see somebody and just like, bam, this is good for you?
No disrespect to I kind of shy away from discussing designers in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
Because we have to respect each other's craft. But unfortunately, I would have to agree with you. Um, you have very few designers in Sierra Leone,
Oh, I
and
know.
when
Go ahead. This is real talk. I want to hear it all.
when when people go into magazines and just take pictures, or you go into Pinterest and pick styles there. I've had arguments about people who would argue about a certain style, and you can tell this is from Pinterest, and they're owning it.
Okay.
And it's funny. um you cannot be a designer and not understand different types of silhouette,
Okay.
understand different body types. When somebody goes into a magazine and takes a picture and makes it, you know, they're just taking a picture to make something.
Right.
When you understand your clientele,
Mm-hmm.
you begin to understand what kind of body shape. You want to look at their body shape and understand what kind of body shape they have, what
Okay.
silhouette will fit that body.
Ah.
And so you take time then to design
Okay.
something.
Cool.
But without understanding the basic, you're just making a bag to put over somebody's body and call
Right.
it
Okay.
my design.
So that's you. You just see somebody and you're able to just fix them up. Anyways, keep up the good work with
Because I
that.
know I
Because
know
there's a
the
lot of
different body
designers,
types.
and
I
for
know your
me, I
body
know
type,
who's
and
who. I know the real from the fake.
yeah.
However, like you said, I'm not touching anybody. I'm
No,
not
no, no.
judging you. Do what you
And you
got to
know
do,
what?
but be real about it. Don't say
Absolutely.
because
I mean,
I
and
myself as
it's
a
you
designer, if
know,
that's the
it's a
case,
skill
I can go to a
for you to
magazine.
be able to go look at something, and sometimes they get it right. Look at a picture and say, okay, I'll go make this for this, and then or you go, you design, you kind of reproduce
Mm-hmm.
different things from magazines, and buy the right fabric, the colors, and kind of mix different textures.
Mm-hmm.
That's a skill,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay, because you have people who are naturally skillful like
Okay.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also good. Like, I think what it is, most of the times in this part of the world, it's not just Freetown. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I've traveled Africa a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What you find is, you find stylists, people who should be called
Solid.
stylists,
Mm-hmm.
actually calling themselves designers. And there's a difference.
What's the difference? Yes, the stylist and the designer. It's for the people.
A
What's the difference?
stylist would look at outfits,
Mm-hmm.
accessories, put them together, look at a style,
Mm-hmm.
and say, this would go with this color, this, shoes, put things together and dress somebody up.
Okay. That's a stylist.
That's a stylist.
And a designer?
A designer would look at a body type and understand what silhouette they need to make or design for that individual. They might not be able to put the colors, like the outfit, together,
Mm-hmm.
where the stylist comes in. But a designer would look at you
Mm-hmm.
and understand that this body type, and design a silhouette that
Mm-hmm.
can fit your body,
Okay.
and then choose fabrics, different textures,
Mm-hmm.
and put that together.
Okay.
And sometimes they can sew it, and most of the times they can't,
Okay.
but they work with their tailors
To get it right.
to get it right.
All right. Okay, that makes more sense. Now you know the difference between a stylist and a designer. Before we go into Creative Hub, what's the future for the brands in Sierra Leone? Like, I know we talk about experts and things like that. However, if we're not able to get these professionals to come and teach, these tailors to get to that level, Where do you think we're gonna go? What's the future for fashion, Sierra Leone fashion?
We really are growing.
Okay.
Considering 4 years back,
Mm-hmm.
when I came over a few years back,
Mm-hmm.
um, we 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 were really lacking behind.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of people are seeing what's happening in neighboring countries.
Yeah.
We're getting a lot of help in
Okay.
terms of funding,
Okay.
in terms of help from either government or World Bank
Mm-hmm.
for like especially the young and upcoming designers.
Okay.
There are a lot of opportunities,
Okay.
a lot of places where you can tap into
Mm-hmm.
to kind of better your craft.
Okay.
And so if we continue to do that, if we tap into the right resources,
Mm-hmm.
and find help at the places where we should,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot that will change in the
Okay.
next, say, 5 years.
Okay.
And people are doing a lot is changing
Yeah, I
already.
think a lot is
And
changing because
people are doing well.
right.
Our fabric industry especially
Okay.
is growing,
Yeah, and I
very
noticed a lot of
fast.
young girls are
There's a lot of
actually
young people.
working, wearing the local brands. Like it's now is a thing
Absolutely.
where, I mean, personally for me, I love everything
Yeah.
Sierra Leone. It's like if I'm going somewhere, I have to wear it's either wear Izelia or Beaver Mix. Like I have to wear a
Yeah.
local brand, and a lot of people are also doing
and
it.
and
So I
and,
think
and
it's
so
good
you
for you
see,
guys.
we're appreciating
Hmm.
what we have.
Okay.
And I think that was where we were struggling.
Okay.
But the other thing is, if nothing,
Hmm.
COVID, made it real
Okay.
for us to value what we
What
have
we have.
locally.
Okay.
And I think that has helped us a lot. Local content is
Hmm.
booming.
Okay.
People are placing a lot of value in local content. Obviously, it is not where we want it to be
But it's getting
as
there.
as designers,
Hmm.
but it's getting there.
Okay.
And you go into supermarkets now, you would see, local
Maybe local
content. You see
content.
some things. But what
Okay.
would be nice is to also have, like, shops where you can walk in and see local
Local. Well, I think I know a few people who are working on that right now.
designers
So
having
okay.
their pieces
Okay.
in different places. But we're getting there.
All right,
We're
cool.
getting
So
there.
you were talking about the funding, so that's just gonna take me straight to Creative Hub, which is your new baby. I think it's good for Sierra Leone, for all the creatives. I was
Yeah.
fortunate to be one of the mentors. I, gave a speech, went to the opening. It was beautiful. Have a space. I mean, Creative Hub, and they're giving out money, right? So I just want to say, first of all, with all the money they're giving, I hope you give it to the right people to begin with. Because what happens is it's like we get money from the World Bank through people like you and several other people, and then it always ends up with family members. Nobody really benefits out of it. So tell me a little about Creative Hub and how. I mean, you're going to be able to kind of, get your creatives who are going to benefit from this money. $20,000. That's what they're giving. Yeah, she
Is
got
it?
money.
Is it?
I don't know,
Is
20,
it?
30,
Is
40,
it?
50,000
I
to
don't
20
know.
SMEs.
Even
I don't
I
know.
don't know. So,
So Creative Hub Africa CEO under the World Bank has money to give out to creatives. Tell us.
that is not true.
How can I benefit from it? And somebody out there, but what is Creative Hub?
Anyway, before I come to Creative Hub, I just want to kind of address or answer, your first comment. So
Mhm.
about money's being given to the right people.
Mhm.
I think you have known me maybe not over 5 years, but for the if we call it short time, it feels like forever.
Mhm.
But I think for the short time we've kind of known each other.
Right.
You probably know the kind of person I am by
Right.
now. And the one thing I wouldn't do is give monies or opportunities to people because I know them.
Okay.
The deserving people
Mhm.
would definitely get whatever opportunities or
Okay.
funding
Okay.
that comes through Creative Hub.
Okay.
And so now Creative Hub.
Go ahead.
Creative Hub, really, For me, I say it's an extension of what I know,
Okay.
what I do. I've been a creative maybe all my life, but because of parents and especially my mother is a creative through and through, but she didn't want me to be one.
One.
But like officially,
Mm-hmm.
I have been in the creative industry and working in the creative industry for over 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so to have Creative Hub is a dream.
Okay.
Um, it is important for us to start placing value on creatives.
Okay.
It is important for us to see creatives as contributors to the economy.
Okay.
And we are. And
Right,
so,
definitely.
what Creative Hub Africa
Mm-hmm.
is a place dedicated for creatives in
Okay.
Sierra Leone.
Okay.
And I say it with joy
I can see it.
because
You're glowing when you say it. You're
yes,
happy
yes,
when you say it.
I say that with so much joy
Mm-hmm.
because it is the first innovative, creative
Whoa.
space
Okay.
dedicated
To
to
creatives.
creatives.
Well done, well done, well done, well done. Anyways,
Um,
we're gonna talk about that. Stop right there. I'll be right back after this break.
Hi, I am Leo, a super geek who's obsessed with artificial intelligence. I'm sure you're wondering how I got here.
Hi, Tony. It's been hard trying to find a quick way to send the cash across to you. The bank is quite far from where I stay.
Girl, I'm trying to call that pop-up shop I saw on IG. I need them shoes for a party this weekend.
Wait a minute. I can solve all these problems. All I have to do is get back to my geek zone and get cracking. That's how I created this great virtual solution. Chat with me on Facebook Messenger and experience a whole new world of banking solutions without going to the bank. Make transfers, buy airtime, get account statements, and more. After all, going to the bank is boring. Like, I can't drink this delicious coffee and fill a teller at the same time. Get it?
We're almost at the end of the show. Of course, welcome Izelia, Isatu Harrison. We're almost at the end of the show. Of course, welcome Izelia, Isatu Harrison. Of course, she's the CEO of Creative Hub Africa, which she just launched. Is like she was just talking about, the first ever hub for creatives in Sierra Leone. She's saying it will, all proud and with joy, but that's not on me. That's on her. Let me have her get her moment. Go ahead and talk about Creative Hub Africa.
it gives me joy. I mean, you can just see. I smile because for me, it is important for for us to collaborate.
Okay.
And I wanted that space. I wanted to create that space,
Okay.
where we can work together. And that's what Creative Hub is.
Okay. So for
It's a
creatives,
home for creatives.
everybody.
It's a home for creatives. So
Right.
for now, for this first year, I call it the pilot here.
Okay.
First of all, for Creative Hub Africa to happen, I want to thank the government of Sierra Leone,
Thank you.
the World Bank,
Thank you.
SMIDA,
Thank you.
and SLEDEP, the Sierra
you.
Leone Economic Diversification Project,
Okay.
the unit under the World Bank that looks after this project.
Okay.
And so we were able to get Creative Hub because Izelia was selected as an emerging hub.
Oh.
I applied for a World Bank project and Izelia was selected as an emerging hub.
Okay.
We got trained by consultants, international consultants that came from Nigeria. And after the training, we got a grant to help us, not necessarily like to create the space. The grant was to help improve a space that you have for to deliver your training.
Okay.
Because as a hub, the emerging hubs were being trained to be able to deliver business BDS, business development services to small businesses. As a BDS service, we work with businesses, train businesses, and get them investment ready.
Okay.
as in a nutshell. So what we do, we would go into your business together with yourself. We learn about your business. You probably would learn things that you don't know about your business, but we would also, we would learn about your business, see where probably the problems are, see why maybe you're not growing,
Okay.
see what you need in terms of growth. And sometimes it is not just money.
Okay.
I think most of the times it's not money. It's not just money.
Okay.
Yes, businesses need money, but most of the times it's having your structures in place.
Okay. So, so that's what your creative hub is on.
So this is what the emerging hubs have been trained
to
do, and that was what we were selected
for.
as part of five of us, 5 hubs. And so Izelia was selected for that. And then I applied for the bigger project, which is now, so from an emerging hub, you kind of graduate to a full status hub.
Okay.
And it's the same service. So the hubs will now provide all the service that the BDS service. So you're a BDS. When you go into like the hub status, then you become an official BDS provider. And so when we trained as an emerging hub, we then got selected as one of the 3 hubs for this year
in Sierra Leone.
Yes, in Sierra Leone, one of the 3 hubs in Sierra Leone, to work with the World Bank in terms of delivering BDS service to 60 businesses. So we are looking after 20.
So that's what you're doing for the
that's
creative.
what we're doing for creatives.
I just want to make this clear. Of course, creative, not because she's a fashion designer. She's talking about all creative.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it's music, movies.
The 7, we're looking at 7 sectors.
Okay, what are these sectors?
For this year. Because we need funding. We need the money. We need to be able to work with these people in ways where we know we can deliver top-notch service to like the sectors that we work with. So we've kind of break it for this first year. We are dealing with 7 sectors. We're looking at videography, photography. We're looking at media. We're looking at fashion design. I always try not to start with fashion design because as soon as I say creative,
but it's okay.
People think it's fashion. I don't want it to be like, because I'm a fashion designer, it's just fashion designer. So fashion design, art and craft, performing art, and oh God, what's the last one? Graphic design.
Okay, so for this year.
For this year.
So what are you offering to these people?
What we're offering to these people is we've partnered with experts in the different sectors that would be delivering expert services to all these different sectors. And so, for example, if you're a graphic designer, now you can come to Creative Hub. We have a section there where you would find like the softwares that you need to help you in terms of doing your work. Making your craft better. Right?
She does not give me
And
money
it's the
though.
same
I saw a flyer that says money.
So the money, I mean, what we're working with businesses now, whether it's individual or businesses, where the money comes in, there's not like readily available money at Creative Hub to just dish out. However, we're working with partners like the World Bank, SMIDA, and other partners that we would work with where they have the finances, they have the funds that will come through us for creative. So, and we will go out as well looking for funding that would help these individual creatives or businesses. For example, now we have a cohort with the World Bank. We are contracted with the World Bank to work to find 20 creative businesses. Last year, they worked with emerging businesses like startups and the SMEs. But this year, is the focus is on SMEs, not startups, unfortunately. There would be other opportunities for startups. But now with the SMEs, in fact, the last couple of weeks I've been traveling around the country to meet SMEs, to see, to talk to them about the application process. So the call is out now, and
So
if
where can
you're
they go?
you can
if
go
there's
to
somebody
so
who wants
it's
to be a part
60
of it?
businesses altogether for this World Bank project. It's 60 businesses. Now you have Creative Hub Africa, myself and the team. We are looking after creatives and the circular design, circular economy. So any business that falls under creative and circular economy would apply to us. And that is www.creativehubafrica.com. And then if you're a business that falls under light manufacturing and agriculture, you apply under Innovation SL. Innovation SL also has, would look for 20 businesses that they would work with over a 14-month period. So this project is over a 14-month period, and it's a 2-phase program. And then the third hub is Sensi Hub, who looks after digital economy. So businesses on the digital economy and tourism. And so if you fall under those sectors, then you apply to Sensi Hub. But for you to be selected, or the requirement for you to apply, you must be a business who is registered for at least 2 years. So the registration is very, very important. You are making money. It'd be nice if you're making profit.
But you're making something.
Yes, you're making money. You've got records of your account, and you fall in one of these sectors. You shouldn't be in the mining sector.
So
and
these
so
are the
if
three.
you are, these are the three. And if you can answer all these questions, bingo, then apply to the sector, to the hub that you belong.
When's the deadline? Like from
the
what time?
the 3rd of March.
The
3rd of March, so Friday. The deadline is on Friday. And now the 2 phase to the program. So the first 6 to 8 months, once you're selected, we go through a selection process, and once you're selected, you would have 6 to 8 months training, where, like I said earlier, there'll be people who are specialized in looking into businesses, diagnosing businesses. They'll go into your business, look at the business, see how the business is doing, look at your books, see where you really need help, and what they want. The whole objective of this project is to strengthen the private sector, to strengthen these sectors, businesses within the SMEs. Because there's a gap. And so they would help you with your business development. If, for example, it's your HR system that needs help, they would help you. If it is, capacity building, you'll get training for that. And so after the first 6 to 8 months, once we have all learned about your business, understand your business, then we'll devise a training specifically suited to your business. And once we do all of that, the next phase is the match, the grant thing that you're excited about. The matching grant phase. And so you get a matching grant to help you deliver and kind of scale up and address all these issues that you probably have in your business.
Thank you. So creativehub.com, right? You can go to www.creativehub.
It's creativehubafrica.com.
All right, now you know what you know. So, there's some grants. If it's a business growing already, like you say, you have to be registered for 2 years. We're almost at the end of the show. So I just want to write up with Izelia, because, of course, you went through all of this. You got this because of the brand Izelia, which is one of my favorites. What's the next big thing for Izelia?
The next big thing for Izelia, there's a lot.
In short. Go ahead.
There's a lot. We're focusing, this year we're focusing on the training, the institute, but we have some big things that are happening that I can't possibly talk about right now, but you would know.
Definitely.
You would know very, very soon. You would know towards the media, we're working on things that we
Are you
would.
still going to be producing clothes like,
Yes,
like
yes. So
these
Izelia,
right
we're
now?
producing. I mean,
Okay.
we produce different collections, different times, but we're working on some plans
All right.
that we would
We're
come back
looking
and
forward
tell
to
you
it.
about.
Definitely, you will come back here and explain about, Izelia, the brand and everything else. I want to thank you so much for coming here and just being a part of my show and just talk about your brand and talk about Creative Hub Africa, which I'm really excited about. So it was more so for people to know that you're really doing this big thing and people can benefit from it. Like you said, this is a dream for you. And I think it's a dream for everybody else. So if you're doing it, we're right behind you, supporting you. And I think I'm going to apply. You never know what I can get.
And,
But
and please, what I want
yeah.
for the creative, what I really would like for Creative Hub, Creative Hub, we want to develop a community. We want to build a community of creatives. So
All right, cool.
it's a space open to all creatives.
All right.
Even if you don't fall in, in the
the
7
sectors.
sectors, it is your space.
Okay.
Please show up. Hold
Location before you say show up.
your events there, your creative event. The
Okay.
beginning, I say the beginning of Spur
So
Road.
from Wilkinson
So
Road,
from Wilkinson
when you
Road,
come
when
around.
you come to the roundabout, the police station, Lumley police station, come to the roundabout. As soon as you take the Spur Road exit, there's a big white building that you would not miss. Bang there, right there by the roundabout on Spur Road.
And you guys are on the third floor.
We're on the 3rd floor. It's
So
a
you
big
open
white
to all
building with glass windows.
Okay.
It's 41A and B. They say Lumley, Freetown, Lumley Road, but bang on the roundabout, Lumley roundabout on Spur Road.
And you're open to welcome all creatives.
We're open to welcome all creatives.
Okay.
Hold your events there, whether it's your pop-up, your music, your poetry.
Is it free?
Well, we charge a small fee because I know for me it's important for us to be able to have a space where we can call home.
Okay.
So what we charge is to cover cost. It's just to cover the maintenance of the space. We have to maintain the space.
All right.
We have to upkeep it. So we charge a small fee for you to hold your creative events there.
All right.
And we can hold up to like event that can take up 250 to 200 people.
All right. Good luck. I wish you all the very best of everything. Creative, show up, call me, hit me up. I'll show you where it is. And like you said, we're trying to build a community, and of course, I'm a part of it, and I want us to grow bigger and better. Nobody leaves my set. Of course, I still gotta, get up right now. I've got to give you these gifts, but I got to show up my new collection, my new Izelia 2023 collection. Expect more of this. But anyways, thank you so much. Come on, give me a hug. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm
proud of you.
Thank you.
I remember when we opened this.
I know, right? Oh yeah, you were here for the lunch.
And now it's taken me this long to come receive my gift.
I know, right? But it is what it is. If you were here first, I'll say because you're my friend. However, I don't want to go. I gotta go. Izelia is Isatu Harrison. I've been your host today, Keister. Till next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.